But your book apparently is doing very, very, very well. I have personally had people call me and request that I give them a copy. You know the thing about Ghanaian mentality. We like free things.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the people who did the publishing and things for you didn't do it for free. They charged you money.
Doesn't matter. I mean, the thing is the circulation of the ideas.
Yeah.
The mobilizing effect of the book. It's not so much how much we are earning. I mean, if it were how much we are earning and so on, rather than write a book, perhaps we would have been involved in Galamsey. You understand?
Right.
So it's not so much about the money. And I didn't know I would have brought you some copies.
Yes.
But next week, I promise to bring you a few copies. So you can use for your protocol and so on. Yes, but it's true that surprisingly, the book is doing very, very well. As of yesterday, it was rated 5-star on Amazon.
What?
Yeah, as of yesterday. Rated 5-star on Amazon.
This is breaking news.
So it does appear to be, of all the books on reparations on Amazon, it does appear to be the leading one, the one that is receiving most public attention.
Wow.
And 5-star rating is quite high.
Wow.
I was very surprised when I saw it yesterday.
Wow. But so far, apart from the Amazon's 5-star rating, persons who have grabbed a copy of the book and have started reading, what has been the feedback like?
I've had many feedbacks. I mean, one of the most interesting feedbacks that I had is from a young lawyer. I think he's called Apia Dankwa.
Right.
You know, and he's somebody I've respected a lot. He did a brilliant review, you know, very, very brilliant review. He actually wrote it. He wrote his review. So, yeah, and many others, you know, that I respect who have commented, you know, very, very nicely about it. There's another lawyer in London, I think he's called Bawa, who has also called. And then there are a number of international reviews in many leading journals, you know, around the world. So it's doing quite well. Much better than I ever expected.
Wow.
Much, much better. I mean, first of all, I didn't even set out to write a book. It was by accident. And then I thought I was just making an interesting argument, you know, trying to unite all the various standpoints and so on. So beyond that, I wasn't expecting anything more. And then, bam, out there. But again, I must give exceptional credit to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. I mean, the moment President John Mahama agreed to write the foreword and wrote the foreword, it gave the book another dimension, completely new dimension, you know. So it's not just what I've done, it's also the contribution that President has done, you know. And most interestingly, the fact that he went to the AU review meeting with copies of the book and distributed it to his colleague heads of states, you know, and so on. It's just remarkable. So I'm very, 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 very grateful to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for writing the foreword, for personally being interested in distributing it to some very important quarters around the world and so on. And then you may not know, in the European Parliament, there's a division between left elements who support reparative justice, you know, for Africa, and right-wing elements who are opposed to reparative justice for Africa. So a couple of weeks after the book came out, I actually wrote personal letters to the members of the European Parliament.
Interesting.
For those who support reparative justice, I wrote personal letters to them and encouraged them to continue to fight for reparative justice. And for those who are against reparative justice, I wrote personal letters to them, pointing out the weaknesses of their argument and urging them to read the book, you know, and saying that, look, we can disagree, but at least let's settle on the facts and so on. So That was very powerful. I mean, I thought that also contributed quite significantly. Getting the book into the European Parliament and getting European parliamentarians to take note, of the contents of the book was quite remarkable. And then many other things. I mean, I personally presented a copy to President Nicolas Maduro. Many foreign ministers around the world, I personally presented copies to them. There were those I couldn't get the opportunity of giving them personally. They asked their embassies to get copies for them. The number of embassies have gotten copies, for their governments and so on. And it's doing quite well, quite well. I mean, quite surprising. I'm really surprised.
Is this your first book, isn't it?
Not exactly,
Not exactly.
But the first book of note.
Okay.
I did a small pamphlet, not a pamphlet, actually a booklet,
Right.
called, titled The Street People, which is essentially a collection of articles that I had written in the 1980s about the PNDC regime and so on. And it did very well then. It's not a very fat book, it's a small book, did quite very well, and still a lot of people refer to it, So and the title of that book is The Street People. Street People, it did quite well. And then I did one under an alliance, didn't use my real name, which was a bit fat, That didn't do that well, perhaps because I didn't use my real name. I did it under some name, you understand? And I still occasionally see copies on one or two bookshelves. Nobody knows that I wrote that book.
Yeah.
There's a bigger one in the works.
Hey.
Much bigger one in the works.
It's got to do with this bigger one in the West. Got to do with your memoirs. We will not accept any excuse, Uncle Kwesi.
No, there's a bigger
As for
one
this,
in
your
the
memoirs,
works.
it has to be.
There's a bigger one in the works.
Yes.
The thing is that I don't want to put it all together at once. I mean, a certain momentum will be lost and so on. So I have to decide deliberately when to release it. But you can release it in 2 weeks. But I'd rather wait for a year.
I see. Is that about your memoirs?
Memoirs is...
This memoirs matter is back again.
Memoirs is memoirs are written by great people, with great experiences and so on. I'm not in a position to write memoirs. But the story of our participation in the attempt to democratize Ghana.
Okay.
It's not a memoir. Memoir is for, you know what I mean. A memoir is not for people like me.
I don't know why you want to take yourself out of that group. But you are a great man.
No.
You're a great man.
No.
Oh, Kwesi.
When I reach there, you would know.
Oh no, you're a great man. In fact, it's always I put it to you that you're a great man. Anyway, but it will still tell a story.
Oh,
It will still tell a story about your contributions towards liberation struggle and Ghana's democracy and so on. And it will still be interesting to
one of the things
read that book
strikes me, and I do not say this out of modesty or anything, for many of the major political developments that took place in this country, in the 80s and 90s, let me say that at least I was at the center of everything. At least, and that's the least I can say, I was at the center of everything. From the alliances of left-wing forces which first opposed the PNDC regime, to the broad alliance of the left and the right, leading to the emergence of the movement of freedom and justice, even the formation of the nucleus of the New Patriotic Party. At the same time, the nucleus of what eventually became the Convention People's Party and so on. I was the center of all of these things. And anyway, it's enough now.
August has given us a foretaste or a precursor to what to expect when his book comes out. Yes, I want to see some of these pictures in the book that you intend to write. Yes, this one and more.
I don't have this picture actually.
Okay. In fact, that's why we put it out, because we know you don't have it. You saw your reaction when we put a picture up on TV. It was because, I mean, it was a pleasant surprise. Well, it is a pleasant surprise. But when was this? Do you remember the year?
I don't. I don't have a copy of this, you know. This must have been...
in the 70s or 80s?
Most likely in the 80s. Maybe
mid-80s.
Early 80s. Yeah. Early to mid-80s.
Interestingly, she looks very... In fact, Kwesi Pratt looks very much like her mother. Well, you're very fashionable, Kwesi. It's a starting in there, you know. Yeah. White trouser, black top, and nice white is it like inner vest or something, you know. But anyway, so Collins. What's up?
Anytime I get up in the morning to come here,
yes,
on your show,
right,
and I see the flyer that I will be attempting to have a debate with Kwesi. You cannot just imagine how privileged I am.
right.
Oh my God.
You know, here we are. Kwesi is talking about he being an integral part of our political struggle from the 70s till now. And I was born in 83. So, and today I'm a beneficiary of the democracy that Kwesi and Co. Began. You know, it's a real privilege. I tell people all the time that being with Kwesi for the past 4 to 5 years is something I never dreamt of. In fact, one of my fondest memories was when I attended the 70th birthday, and then there was a documentary about him. And here I was, Emoro, seated amongst the Chachuchi Kates, the Fremont Parade, the chief of staff, and all the big political guys. And then we are watching the documentary, and here I am,
Right.
being featured on the documentary of Mr. Kwesi Pratt. It's an incredible privilege, Kwesi. And I'm surprised you are surprised your book is doing well. I'm even surprised you are surprised.
Yeah.
A book that had its foreword written by President, had it reviewed by the venerable Cabral. I mean, it had to be good.
Yeah.
Yes, this topic about repatriation, it's been a very heated topic.
Yeah.
Heated topic. I mean, sometimes when you watch television and you see some of the even artifacts
Right.
being returned to Africa, and the kind of excitement that greets such repatriation, it's something that some people may take it lightly.
Yeah.
But these are huge conversations.